Hello, my name is Pavel Služevský. At the time of recording this, I'm studying under the Nejse University at the Hochschule Zittau-Görlitz. I chose the topic ransomware for subject data security because I have personal experience with one type of ransomware. Some of the most important and interesting topics of this short documentary range from basics like what ransomware is, what types of ransomware we can encounter and how they work. I will shortly talk about some history for reference. I'm going to tell you my real story encountering ransomware when I was but a young child. We'll finish with a showcase of some notable examples and famous groups, and at last we will have some time for questions. So, what exactly is ransomware? Imagine a thief walks into your home and ramages through your personal belongings. But instead of stealing them, he locks all your valuables in a bag or safe and forces you to pay a ransom for the key to unlock the safe. What choice do you have? Substitute your digital space for your home and encryption for the safe, and you have what's known as ransomware. It is a type of malware that prevents users from accessing their system or personal files and demands a ransom payment in order to regain access. The earliest variants of ransomware were developed in the late 1980s, and payment was to be sent via snail mail. Today, ransomware authors order the payment to be sent via cryptocurrency like Bitcoin or credit card. There are numerous possible ways to get infected with ransomware. The most common are as follows: spam and phishing emails. Ransomware authors often pose as legitimate users to trick others into downloading malicious files. Be sure you have a strong email security system that verifies who sent messages and checks email attachments. Malicious websites. Some websites host malware and fish for sensitive information such as login credentials. This method often requires user interaction, such as clicking on fake ads or social media links and entering information in fake login fields, so ensure you are browsing safe sites. Infected removable drives. USB flash drives can contain malware that automatically installs when you connect the drive to your computer. Be sure to run a security scan of drives and disable the outrun feature. Malicious applications and plugins. Malware authors often bundle their viruses with software shared through third-party websites. Make sure you carefully read over what you are installing and download software only from official websites. And in your company, make sure that regular users don't have permissions to download and install software on their computers. Now you know in which cases you have to be extra vigilant in order to not contract a ransomware. There are three main types of ransomware. We will go through them from the mildest to the most dangerous. Scareware, as it turns out, is not that scary. It includes rogue security software and tech support scams. You might receive a pop-up message claiming that malware was discovered, and the only way to get rid of it is to pay up. If you do nothing, you'll likely continue to be bombarded with pop-ups, but your files are essentially safe. A legitimate cybersecurity software program would not solicit customers in this way. If you don't already have this company's software on your computer, then they would not be monitoring you for ransomware infection. If you do have a security software, you wouldn't need to pay to have the infection removed. You've already paid for the software to do that very job. When a lock screen ransomware gets on your computer, it means you are frozen out of your PC entirely. Upon starting up your computer, a full-size window will appear, often accompanied by an official-looking FBI or US Department of Justice seal saying illegal activity has been detected on your computer and you must pay a fine. However, the FBI would not freeze you out of your computer or demand payment for illegal activity. If they suspected you of piracy, child pornography, or other cybercrimes, they will go through the appropriate legal channels. You might be able to get into the safe mode though. Now, encrypting ransomware is the truly nasty stuff. These are the guys who snatch up your files and encrypt them, demanding payment in order to decrypt and deliver. The reason why this type of ransomware is so dangerous is because once cybercriminals get a hold of your files, no security software or system restore can return them to you, unless you pay the ransom. For the most part, they are gone. And even if you'd pay up, there is no guarantee the cybercriminals will give you those files back. How does ransomware work? Typically, the software gets introduced to your network by an executable file that may have been in a zip folder or disguised as a fax or other viable attachment. The download file then encrypts your data, adds an extension to your files, and makes them inaccessible. More sophisticated versions of the software are propagating themselves and can work without any human action. These are known as drive-by attacks. This form of ransomware infects your system through vulnerabilities in various browser plugins. Let us talk about the history and evolution of ransomware. The first ransomware, known as PC Cyborg or AIDS, was created in the late 1980s. PC Cyborg would encrypt all files in the C directory after 90 reboots, and then demand the user renew their license by sending $189 by email to PC Cyborg Corporation. The encryption used was simple enough to reverse, so it posed little threat to those who were computer savvy. With few variants popping up over the next 10 years, a true ransomware threat would not arrive on the scene until 2004, when GP code used weak RSA encryption to hold personal files for ransom. In 2007, Minlock heralded the rise of a new type of ransomware that, instead of encrypting files, locked people out of their desktops. Minlock took over the victim screen and displayed pornographic images. Then it demanded payment via a paid SMS to remove them. With the development of the ransom family Revitton in 2012, came a new form of ransomware, law enforcement ransomware. Victims would be locked out of their desktop and shown an official-looking page that included credentials for law enforcement agencies such as the FBI and the Interpol. The ransomware would claim that the user had committed a crime such as computer hacking, downloading illegal files, or even being involved with child pornography. Most of the law enforcement ransomware families required a fine by paid ranging from $100 to $3,000 with prepaid cards such as Ucash or PaySafe card. Average users didn't know what to make of this and believed they were truly under the investigation from law enforcement. This social engineering tactic, now referred to as implied guilt, makes the user question their own innocence and, rather than being called out on their activity they aren't proud of, pay a ransom to make it all go away. In 2013, CryptoLocker introduced the world to encrypting ransomware. Only this time it was far more dangerous. CryptoLocker used military-grade encryption and stored the key required to unlock files on a remote server. This meant that it was virtually impossible for users to get their data back without paying the ransom. This type of encrypting ransomware is still in use today, as it's proven to be an incredibly effective tool for cybercriminals to make money. Large-scale outbreaks of ransomware, such as WannaCry in 2017 and Petya in June 2017, used encrypting ransomware to ensnare users and businesses across the globe. Historically, ransomware usually attacked individual users or computers in order to get money out of inexperienced internet surfers. But today the big money lies in attacking large companies and organizations and withholding their encrypted data, sometimes under the threat of deleting them. Hackers can earn a lot of money this way, but also a lot of years in prison. The latest variant of ransomware family that's been in the wild for a while has been evolving non-stop. This ransomware family is known for being hosted on arbitrary websites and is circulated on online forums using various social engineering lures, including masquerading as popular apps, CRUD games, or video players. The new variant caught people's attention because it's an advanced malware with unmistakable malicious characteristics and behavior, and yet manages to evade many available protections, registering a low detection rate against security solutions. As with most Android ransomware, this new threat doesn't actually block access to files by encrypting them. Instead, it blocks access to devices by displaying a screen that appears over every other window, such that you can't do anything else. The safe screen is the ransom node, which contains threats and instructions to pay the ransom. Android malware goes through a fast evolution, essentially forced by the developers as they are trying to fix the mistakes features a malware exploits. First Android malware used a pop-up window, but was fairly easy to get rid of by not allowing apps to use that feature. Another evolution uses accessibility features. When you install an app on your phone, you are asked to give the app access to some features of your phone, like calls, contacts, saving data, camera, etc. A different malware uses a loop to draw non-app windows on your screen, but you are able to delete the offending app in between redrawing of the windows. Today, some malware use the call notification, along with other features that requires users' immediate attention. Ransomware attacks are difficult to detect quickly enough to prevent damage. Cybercriminals use crafty social engineering techniques to install ransomware and military-grade encryption algorithms to scramble sensitive data. Once a computer or other endpoint is infected, ransomware can propagate itself through the network and execute extremely quickly, which makes it nearly impossible to respond in time. Often, the target organization or individual becomes aware of the infection only when the ransomware has encrypted its data and announced the presence to the organization to demand the payment. If you want to know some tips on how to defend yourself against ransomware, then listen carefully. A user with proper knowledge on how to defend against ransomware knows that malicious links and file attachments are among the most common techniques ransomware creators use to inject the ransomware virus to the victim's computer. Therefore, you should never click unfamiliar links and download file attachments, especially if they are coming from the spam folder. Another effective way to defend against ransomware attacks is by keeping computers safe using a reputable scanning software which can identify unknown and malicious files in the computer. You should choose a tool that can provide you with real-time protection. An ideal scanning software is one that can send you comprehensive reports about the trust level of your files, so you can be regularly updated about the current status of your system. Finally, one of the things that you must remember to defend against ransomware is the importance of backups. Anyone can do this either by saving it on the cloud, like Google Drive or Dropbox, or in a portable hard drive. By doing this, there won't be the need to give in the demands of ransomware creators, as you'll have backup copies of all data encrypted by the attack. What you need to do after is to take the necessary steps to remove the malware from your devices and copy the backup files to your now ransomware-free computers. If a ransomware infects your computer, usually these simple steps should help you get rid of the ransomware. The easiest way to remove most ransomware is to reboot Windows 10 to safe mode. There you are free to install anti-malware software, using which you are able to scan the system to find ransomware program, and then you can restore the computer to previous state. There is an important thing to keep in mind. While walking through these steps can remove the malware from your computer and restore it to your control, it won't decrypt your files. Their transformation due to unreadability has already happened, and if the malware is at all sophisticated, it will be mathematically impossible for anyone to decrypt them without access to the key that the attackers hold. In fact, by removing the malware, there might be no possibility of restoring your files by paying the attackers the ransom they've asked for. So decide your steps carefully. If you are interested, I would like to tell you my personal story encountering a ransomware. I was still a young child. I think I was around 11 or 12. That day, I was happily searching the internet for some cheats for games that I played. I wanted to have some fun. Not being experienced enough, I went onto some shady sites promising cheats for games. I almost found what I wanted when suddenly my computer screen went black, white, black again, and a screen popped up. I could read that the police has blocked your computer for illegal behavior. It was a locker ransomware. Some paragraphs, fake verification, and thankfully not a photo of me as I had my camera blocked out by the tape. I was terrified as I was unsure if I did something wrong and if I'm in real trouble. What would parents say? And then I read through it more. There was an option to pay a ransom of $300 so that I can unlock my PC. I was already a little tech savvy. I did not want to lose any of my data, and I decided to Google how to get rid of the ransomware. I found a guide mentioning the specific ransomware that I encountered, and I had to go to save mode and manually edit some system data through a command prompt. With the help of the guide, I managed to get into my computer, save all the data I needed, and do a fresh installation of Windows operating system. I have prepared a quick sum up of the most known ransomware groups out there. Avadon, Klop, Conti, DarkSide, Doppelpaymer, Egregor, Lockbit, Maze, Mespinoza, Mountlocker, Nefilm, Nemty, Netwalker, Ragnarlocker, Ranzi, Revil, Segmet, Snatch. Thank you for your attention. I hope you liked this short documentary on the topic ransomware. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me after this video ends. Have a nice day!